Be safe. Hang on. Let me get Mike Davis. I'm going to come back to you. Mike Davis, I think Don Lemon's going to be arraigned, I think, within the hour of this show in Los Angeles. Talk me through, is this serious or is this just President Trump and his devotees chasing, making trouble for an innocent man? You've seen the indictment. What do you got?
So the videos of what Don Lemon did at that church service where he stormed the church with other agitators. He went onto the pulpit and interrupted the church service and tried to have a debate with the minister on the pulpit. He scared the hell out of the congregants, including women and children. A woman broke her arm during all of this. Don Lemon faces very serious federal felony charges under the Klan Act, conspiracy against rights, 18 U.S.C. Section 241, along with a misdemeanor charge or maybe even felony, depending on how they do it, under the FACE Act, under 18 U.S.C. Section 248. Here's the issue, Steve. He was not there as a journalist, but even if he were there as a journalist, journalists do not have license to trespass into a house of worship. They do not have license to terrorize church congregants. They do not have, whether it's a church, a mosque, a synagogue, another place of worship, you can't do that. Remember, the Biden Justice Department imprisoned elderly Christian pro-life protesters at Planned Parenthood. So Don Lemon is certainly not above the law here. And I would say this, if Don Lemon showed any sense of remorse after this, if he said, well, I just got caught up in this, it was bad judgment, I apologize, maybe, just maybe, he would have the Justice Department saying something different today. But this Don Lemon, he doubled down, he tripled down, he quadrupled down and tried to say that he was there as a journalist when the videos are so clear what he was doing. His own statements on video after he did this show his mental culpability, his mental state for all this. He admitted his criminal culpability for all this. He admitted he targeted this church because of their Christian faith. He admitted he targeted this church because of the race of the congregants. Right? This is textbook FACE Act, and this is textbook Klan Act. So Don Lemon can go to hell, and in the meantime, Pam Bondi's going to send his ass to prison.
Yeah, you gave a real shout out today on social media to Pam Bondi. Walk me through that.
Well, I just think that Pam Bondi is being bold and fearless here. Look, in prior Republican administrations, there's no chance in hell that a Republican white male attorney general would charge Don Lemon with a Klan Act violation because prior Republican white male attorneys general are pussies, and Pam Bondi is not. She is bold and fearless. She does not give a damn about the woke nonsense, the political correctness. It's very clear that Don Lemon was an agitator here who terrorized a white Christian church. So Pam Bondi is going to put this man where he belongs in jail with Klan Act and FACE Act charges.
Okay, because tonight, on CNN and MSNBC, we're just going to be bombarded with them because they've already started on these afternoon shows. And by the way, we're going to try to cut to Don Lemon when he gets arraigned. That these are just kind of phony, made up charges, and this is just retribution by Trump's acolytes and devotees. Can you just give it to us succinctly one more time? Why do you, Mike Davis, think this is serious? The charges and at least the preliminary evidence they took to the grand jury.
Because Don Lemon terrorized a church service. He disrupted the church service. He went on the pulpit and disrupted the pastor in the middle of the church service. Tried to debate with him during the middle of the church service. Look, I went to 13 years of Catholic school. As you know, Steve, I'm not exactly the model Catholic, but it enrages me watching this soul go on to a pulpit and debate a a pastor during the middle of a church service. You have little kids cowering in terror. You have women cowering in terror. You have someone breaking their arm. There has to be punishment here because Don Lemon has shown zero remorse for what he's done. He's quadrupled down. And here's the bigger issue. If you do not make an example out of Don Lemon, if you do not punish him, if you do not have a deterrent factor here, this is going to happen all across America. You're going to have left-wing agitators disrupting church services every Sunday, and that cannot happen in this country. That is a series of very serious federal crimes, including the FACE Act and the Klan Act. And you can't have the Biden Justice Department throwing 75-year-old Christians in prison for praying at abortion clinics, but you let Don Lemon get out of jail free card just because he's a black left-wing journalist. Again, Don Lemon can go to hell. In the meantime, he can go to jail.
This is right now in the streets. We're going to go back to Ben Bergquam in a second. You have, 20, 30,000. You have a massive turnout, it looks like, with no police, right? And no ICE, no Customs and Border. They've taken over the streets, and now they're governing themselves, but they've taken over the streets. There's no legal authority. This case is going to depend upon those parishioners coming forward in open court and accusing and backing up with evidence, eyewitness evidence, what Don Lemon did, correct? Where are we going to find, because they're going to be terrorized immediately, where are you going to find parishioners with that kind of steely spine when you're living in a place like Minneapolis, sir?
Now, that's a very good point. Now, I think this one was in St. Paul, which is a little bit more sane than the Somali pirates in Minneapolis. But I get your point. Here's the issue. You have videos from Don Lemon of where he's admitting what he did, which is storm the church to make them uncomfortable. And he did it because of their race and their religion. They're white Christians. That's why he targeted this church. You can play those videos in court of Don Lemon. Those are hearsay videos, but you get around the hearsay rules, the federal rules of evidence. You can get around the hearsay rules because it's Don Lemon's incriminating statements. And so play those videos in court, and it seems like it's a pretty clear-cut slam dunk case. Now, if he ends up getting jury nullification, which he may get because you're dealing with left-wing jurors in Minnesota, the dumbest people in America, they let Somali pirates rip them off out of billions of dollars for years and years and years. So you may have dumb Democrat Minnesota jurors with jury nullification, but you know what? Who gives a damn? Put Don Lemon through the process.
Mike Davis, thank you. I know you had to step out to do this. Where do people go for Article 3? Where do they go for your social media? You're putting up a lot of great stuff in this. Where do they go? Article3project.org, article3project.org. Donate, follow us on social media. And again, action for the All-Star War Room Posse. And thank you, Steve. Thank you, brother. Mike Davis and Don Lemon is supposed to be, I guess, arraigned here shortly. We'll go to that. Let's go back to Ben. Do we have Ben Bergquam? Ben,